Hello, everybody. I hope you are doing well, and welcome to this edition of the Divine Feminine Rebirth Show. I'm Julie from Maison Jupiter, shooting from an undisclosed location in Dominican Republic. Very excited to be here with all of you. And of course, tonight I'm here with my beautiful soul sister, Sol. Sol, how are you? And welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm doing so much better this week. I've had a little bit of time off to just recover and over this last year, just been working so much. So it's just been nice to have some time to myself. And, it's getting cold over here. So, yeah, just looking after myself at the moment and preparing some exciting other things I'm working on in the background.
Yeah. So it feels like the universe was giving you a big message of you need to slow down, you need to prepare for what's to come.
Definitely.
And so that makes a lot of sense with what we just looked at your chart, because we're going to talk about tonight Jupiter in Gemini, which is a huge portal of manifestation and opportunities for all of us in a different sector of our birth chart. So we're going to talk about that, generally speaking, for the collective, what does it mean, and also for the 12 zodiac signs. And for you, Soul, Jupiter is going to enter your first house. So it's like the universe is asking you to change how people perceive you, maybe do some different stuff. You'll have different opportunities to gain abundance, more consciousness on different subjects. So do you think it makes sense with what kind of, let's say, obstacles you're going through right now with your health?
Yeah, definitely. And I really, even before, about a week or two before getting this cold that's on its way out still, but I heard loud and clear messages from the universe. You need to take time out. And so, as going to Uluru next week, which will be amazing. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be so great. Can't wait to film there as well, so I can bring some of the footage back and share with you guys. But even last week, like delaying the galactic show, it was everything's working in divine timing at the moment. And I feel like I'm sort of stepping back on this storybook and watching things unfold. It's like all these little characters sort of, going through things. And yeah, it's been a fascinating couple of weeks, but one where I'm like, this is a bizarre kind of like matrix or simulated reality. It really feels almost like being separate from it and reassessing and looking at like what direction I want to go in.
Yeah, and Jupiter is for sure going to present you with a lot of new, exciting stuff, exciting opportunities. And I'm very excited to be talking about this, especially for this community, because Jupiter is also, well, it's also the name of the company that we're working in, Maison Jupiter. And it's the planet of international, of travels. And I'm here in Dominican Republic. So yes, Shauna, she says Julie's on holiday. It looks like yes. We're going to be preparing. Elena's coming tomorrow, and we're going to be preparing a project for you guys. So very excited. So it's not just vacation. It's also thinking about the future and preparing stuff for you guys. But Jupiter is also gaining more consciousness and expanding our consciousness and discovering a lot of what's life all about. And it's all about spirituality, beliefs, religion, but any kind of beliefs is Jupiter also. So we're going to be gaining a lot more consciousness, all of us. And it's going to expand an area of our birth chart for 1 year. So this is a big deal. And whenever we have Jupiter transiting a sign, it kind of gives us an indication of what's going to gain value in the collective and society. So if we get aligned with whatever Jupiter and that sign represent, we have higher chances to, let's say, swim with the current, have luck in whatever we're doing. It's going to feel smoother, and we're going to be able to spot opportunities to gain more abundance easily. So that's very exciting. So it's going to be bringing us some new opportunities, lucky opportunities, and also opportunities to grow as a soul. So that's going to be very exciting. So Sol and I are going to talk about what does it mean for the collective. And then, of course, we'll dive into the 12 zodiac signs. So stay tuned, and you can watch for your rising sign, your sun sign, and also your moon sign. These are going to be added components to the reading we're going to do. So hi to everybody. Very excited to be sharing this live with all of you. Hi, Larry. Hi, Jake. Yes, excited for the show as well. Vicky. Hi, Vicky. Nice to see you. Hi, Ben. I'm trying to put a few of you on the screen now. Ayame. Hello, everyone. And Corbin. Hi. Sol. Hi, Julie. Hi, Corbin. Nice to see you. And yes, thank you, Emma. I was going to say Elena. I don't know why. Hit the like. So yes, we really appreciate your likes. It really helps with the algorithm for promoting our videos. So please take a few seconds if you do enjoy this content, of course, to give us a like on whatever platform you're watching this on. So we are simulcasting this show on the Maison Jupiter YouTube channel. And also, if you aren't already, please do subscribe to the channel because we're going to be bringing in some exciting new shows. And as Sol, you were talking about the show that we delayed last Friday, it's going to be rescheduled this Friday. So would you like to give us a little preview on what you're going to be talking about this Friday?
Yeah, so I left you a message the other day and we were chatting about, it was so bizarre, like the timing. And I put out to the universe, I'm like, you know what, it'd just be great to meet someone that was actually there and have a chat with them. And, delaying the show. And then we went out for Mother's Day last weekend and my partner's birthday. And just standing in kind of like a little treasure kind of, I'm not sure if you guys call it an op shop, but it's like, I guess recycled goods and, different treasure and things like that. We were just in one of those stores having a look around. And my partner was next to the counter and we heard the lady standing at the counter talking to the person on register saying, oh yeah, I was there in 1966. I was one of the students that witnessed the UFO land. My partner's just looked at me like this. Both our eyebrows are raised and I walk over and I'm like, excuse me, I'm actually going to be filming a show on this. And she just talked to us about everything that she witnessed and saw happen. And it just gives you the biggest chills to hear a firsthand account of 3 UFOs that were witnessed and to hear about them landing and to hear, these school children that, ran out across fields to go and see and witness this. And there was a teacher there with them who now has been open and disclosed it because there was a lot of threats and warnings for do not disclose things. They were all told to zip it and that they didn't see anything. There was US military involved as well as Australian, I guess police and army as well. So it's going to be a really exciting show for something that happened locally here. And we also went out last weekend to the actual place and went and did, a few photos and things. So there's going to be some great things to share. And I have actually seen UFOs in this location day and nighttime. So
wow,
can't wait to bring this to you guys.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely amazing. And Corbin Lee is saying, wow, talking about manifesting. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And so when it happened, I'm living in the dream going, of course, this is what happens because that's what I put out for. So, in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is just like a deeper sign of, synchronicity and manifestation. But I'm like, what are the chances? So really, we've all just got to get alignment with what we really want.
Yeah, awesome. And we're very happy that you're going to be bringing this content to all of us. So that's going to be super exciting. The universe really wanted you to be able to have some amazing content for us. So very excited to watch the show. So that's going to be on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned. It's going to be amazing. And yes, Rainbow Sun is saying synchronicity at its finest. Yes.
Yeah.
And Jody says, oh my God, I can't wait for the show on Friday. So I bet she told you great stories. Oh yes, she does.
I just get goosebumps thinking about it. It was incredible.
Yeah, wow, awesome. I can't wait to hear about that. And I want to call you Susie. It's going to be easier. Susie, thank you. So glad to see you. So she's watching from the Rumble channel. So if you are also watching us live on Rumble, please also hit the rent button. If you do enjoy this content, it really helps us into creating some more original content for you guys over there as well. Yes. So aside from that, I have a little slide for you guys. And then we're going to start first about talking about what does it mean, Jupiter changing sign. So basically, Jupiter stays in a sign for about a year, and Jupiter kind of highlights what's going to gain value in the collective financially. So prices around the topics that a sign rules might rise. So that's a good indication also to if you would like to invest in those things, or if you're just curious on how would you reorient your business, or what kind of projects can you, let's say, develop for that time, and that will be in high demand. So I think that's a good indicator for all of us, and also to look at the future trends. And also, well, let's start with that. So Jupiter is there for a year. I'm going to show you my slide, and it will enter exactly on May 25th. So in 10 days, I was going to say 10 years, no, 10 days from now, it's going to enter Jupiter in Gemini, sorry. But just keep in mind that it's not going to be only on May 25th. We're already kind of feeling a shift in the energies right now. On the 25th, it enters. So on the first days, we're going to feel it the most, because that's when we start feeling the energies of a new sign the most, is the first degrees. But then it's going to stay there for a whole year to be, so we can really acclimatize to the energy. So first of all, Jupiter is not at its best in the sign of Gemini, because it rules the opposite sign of Sagittarius. But nonetheless, Jupiter is the great benefactor in astrology. So it does bring gifts, luck, opportunities to expand, to gain more abundance, to open consciousnesses even more. And even though it is not at its, let's say, strongest position in Gemini, it will bring a lot of good things, and especially surrounding information, because both Jupiter and Gemini will rule let's say, knowledge and information in different ways. So let's look at what it rules for the collective, and then still I'm going to ask you to pull some cards for the general energy for the collective. And then, of course, we will get into the 12 zodiac signs, which is going to be super fun, because for both Sol and I, it will enter a very important house. So it's going to enter my 10th house of career, of public life, and Sol for you, the first house of how you show up into the world. So very exciting for all of us. Goosebumps. Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Okay, so when Jupiter will enter the sign of Gemini, we'll have Jupiter, Venus together. So both are financial planets that will make a very positive aspect to Pluto, which is another financial planet. So we're going to get lots of energy into bringing good financial opportunities. Not saying that everybody will get rich, really hoping, but I believe it's more like, let's say, opportunities that will be given to us by the universe to expand in one way in our lives. And there will be high chances that these opportunities will be presenting themselves to gain more financial abundance as well, because those three planets are of financial nature. So new opportunities to generate money, especially using Jupiter themes and Jupiter in Gemini. So listen to what we have to say tonight, because that could be really helping you into generating some more wealth and abundance for the year ahead. So Jupiter is all about teaching. Gemini is all about learning. So there will be a huge emphasis on the topics of teaching, of learning, of gaining more knowledge. Gemini is more about practical skills. Jupiter is more about elevated knowledge, higher knowledge. So it will be a blend between the two. So teaching, learning, spirituality, which is more Jupiter. Gemini is all about social media. Jupiter is coaching, mentoring. So those themes could be really coming into play for you in your life or for the people around you. Also, we can expect some changes in education, in online education. There will be, I believe, a lot more online programs, especially to gain more practical skills, because Gemini is all about gaining practical skills that we can really use on a daily basis or practically in our life. I believe also there will be a lot of teachers that will be sought after to become teachers and especially in elementary school, which is what Gemini rules. or any kind of practical program, educational program. I believe also short form of content will be even more, let's say, what's the word? I'm sorry, guys. My head is full of languages. I've been speaking Spanish for the last week, so my brain is a bit confused. What was I? Short form content, yes, will become more popular. This is the word I was looking for. Even though it is already popular, I believe that it will even be more, let's say, sought after. Also, if we blend together what is Jupiter and what is Gemini, spiritual content, so yay for us. Religious content also might be even more popular. Also, another big theme for this Jupiter and Gemini is travels. So Jupiter is all about traveling. It rules opening up and expanding your consciousness, but through experiencing what is different to you. So different cultures, different languages, different places, different people, different beliefs. So by also physically traveling. So travels will be a big theme in the coming year. Gemini rules more local kind of travel. So there will be also, I believe, a lot of road trips, people taking their cars, maybe even through bicycle, who knows, but people are going to want to move and discover and experience. And that's what Jupiter and Gemini is all about. So I said about learning, teaching, especially about practical stuff. Information and content will become more valuable, especially practical type of content. So I believe we're going to be seeing a lot more people, let's say, starting channels on YouTube, Rumble. There might also be new social media platforms coming out. It's a year that will be very much focused on information and content. Also, I'm trying to read your messages at the same time. Yes. So Ben is saying, I too feel opportunities for starseed will just flow if we attune to it. Time to serve that wave of flow. Yes. Yeah. And I love that comment, Ben, because I feel like astrology, it's all about learning what kind of the tendencies are and riding that wave. And so I believe, yes, especially for this community. Okay, let me finish this slide before I talk about other stuff. So yes, I said that having curiosity about different point of views and being open-minded. So that will become even more important. I don't know on what exactly practical way that kind of becomes important in our lives, but it is already, of course, important. Gemini is all about seeing different point of views and not being judgmental. And Jupiter is all about being open-minded. So we will need that quality and we will need to develop that quality even more. Also, foreign languages is the one that is very important. So I believe if more people will start to learn different languages, or we might also start to learn off-world languages. So I can't wait to see where you're going to see with the cards, if it has to do with more earthly stuff or off-world stuff, we'll see. Also, another thing that is ruled by Gemini is cars, or any kind of vehicles is ruled by Gemini. So yes, cars could be become even more expensive or rare or sought after. So that could be a possible theme here. Any kind of business activity that rules import, export, transacting with one another, making business, marketing, communicating, linking with other people through business will be very, very much emphasized. So that's one of the ways I believe that a lot of us are going to be seeing opportunities to gain even more abundance. And lastly, book publishing might become even more popular, or there's going to be something around the theme of books. Maybe physical books are going to be more valuable, or a lot of people will want to be published, but that there's something along the line of, let's say, information that will be even more valuable, book publishing, and content in general, online content. Yes, Ben is saying a new world business. Yeah, so this is a tendency for a year, but I believe that it's going to be an important one, especially for this community. So first of all, your impressions, and have you seen those energy play out already?
Yeah, and watching the one that you and Sophie did the other week too, going through the signs and just looking at, what's already starting to happen, the different trends and things. But when you were talking about like possibly like new social media platforms, things like that, I've been feeling that sort of birthing around in the background. So I've been looking like for if there's anything, about to emerge, or whether it's like more attention and focus onto different things. And I know like with the whole thing in the States, like with the TikTok ban, and, there's definitely things happening around social media, and especially more that short form content. But I do feel how you were saying before about the language side of things. I've noticed in some of my sessions lately, the connection to light language just coming through so much stronger. And for me, it's always felt more like a primary language, and, English feels more kind of like a second language. So whether there's that stronger connection that we have to streaming in our higher consciousness, and, being more aware of that multidimensional part of self. And yeah, I wonder if that's also connected, with the Gemini side of things, like looking into, the connection with like the multiple parts of us.
Definitely, definitely. Gemini is all about like seeing different dimensions at once, seeing different point of view. So it does make sense what you're saying. I love that. Like the dimensionality. Is that how
Yeah,
it's
I know. I can't say the multidimensionality part
Thank
about.
you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest quality of Gemini. And of course, if you have like a strong Gemini in your chart, like you saw, you're a beautiful Gemini rising, you're going to feel this shift of energy even more positively, because Jupiter brings a lot of expansive energy, optimistic, energetic. It's going to be, and I believe like that's one of the big themes that you just highlighted here, Sol, is how we're going to become even more aware of the multi-dimensionality aspect of our personalities.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, definitely. You can feel it integrating as well. So I think, if we look back a year from now, we'll probably feel totally different than what we do right now. It's like we're starting to transition out of that limited version of self, is what it feels like, into that expansive. So I think that's where that Jupiter is going to come in and help with that.
Yeah, definitely. Can I ask you, Sol, to pull some cards for the collective? What do the cards want to tell us as far as this Jupiter entering Gemini for the next year? What's kind of let's say, what's special about this transit?
Yeah. So I'm seeing a lot of blue come in. So what they're sort of showing me, they're giving me the word fractals, and I'm seeing blue energy come in, and they're talking about healing different fractals of self. So what they're sort of showing me, like as an end result or an end product, I'm seeing what looks to be like a multifaceted diamond, but I'm seeing like lots more colors being introduced, lots more parts of us sort of like starting to come in and integrate. I'm seeing a lot happen and let go to do with ego as well. So, and I'm just hearing, I don't know if you can hear the kookaburras in the background laughing. They're birds over here that laugh. So yeah, I just keep seeing like this multifaceted integration that we're going to be left with, or this diamond. But we know that diamonds are also made under pressure. So they've given me 6 cards. So we'll have a look into these, and we'll see what comes up. This will be interesting. I'll just feel into these first. So I actually do feel like light language come through with this as well. So I do feel that there is an activation that Spirit wants to bring through, helping us to more step forward into this energy and really open and embrace. Is that okay if we tap into that, and then I'll translate?
Of course, go ahead.
Okay. Alunarte kale sonare terra, malunarte kalo shonarte ke ayunare, iala sonarte ke alanarte ke arna, ia shalalunarte ke ayunarte ke ara. Mia shonala tala narte ke halo sonia. Ia shanala noala kaya narte kalo sori. Ia shanala taka narata ke onartera. So what that was showing me was, it's almost like there's a stitching together of fragments of who we are and really kind of putting it together. But I saw that it's like the mission that we've come down here onto Earth for. It really is like a rising up or a remembrance and kind of like a realignment. But what I was seeing was like a push from spirit to kind of like further step into our light. I'm seeing a lot of like, sometimes you can have like fears that hold us back. I'm seeing here in this kind of situation, they're really helping us. The more that we tune in with higher self, the more that we tune in with spirit, they're helping us to let go of the things that are holding us down, or our fears or our doubts and worries. And we're really kind of just seeing this organic like levitation going forth into future. So we'll flip the cards over.
Wow.
And we have some interesting cards. It looks like this next year is going to be a ride. We start off with 9 of Swords energy. So this is called the card of cruelty. For me, it's a dark night of the soul, kind of thick, heavy blanket energy that sort of sits on us. So sometimes it will be like, intrusive or kind of like heavier thoughts and emotions, a little bit of dark night of the soul energy, but I'm seeing this more towards the first start of the year. So we're coming out of that. We're actually more realizing what is not, like with some of the swords energy, it can be projections. It can sometimes be energy sent from other people. So it's really kind of looking singularly at like, what is us? What is our frequency? What is our vibration? What is sort of no longer aligned, or what's perhaps coming in that is kind of like a different frequency that's not for you. We then have 3 of disc. So with this, it's a great foundation. It's also known as a fire that can't be extinguished by water. So whatever it is that you've been working on, even if it's, been birthing or forming over the last couple of years, this might be like the year to kind of like step more into this, or really kind of put dramatic energy behind what it is that you want to birth or bring into the world. This is also, for me, really focusing on like the psychic centers. So the crystals in the pineal, crystals in the ears. This for me is about getting up and out of the programming, up and out of the matrix energy. So we're actually going to be seeing like a lot of awakening come through. So for those that are, I guess, the last couple of years has been a huge awakening. And for many of us, our whole lives, we're going to see a whole new level start to come in multidimensionality wise, multidimensionally, and be reflected. So we're seeing this a lot with the auroras and things taking place at the moment. We're going to be seeing even more of that come along, like August is the words that I'm hearing. We do also see that this is a toppling more of the dark side. So frequency wise, things are starting to vibrate further and further up. With the Tower card too, we also see that there's this little symbol down here called Per. And with this symbol, and we can see the Mars energy with it, but with Per, it represents that our words are as precious as gold. So really like not putting words into like fear or into anything that might not be of the vibration of what you're wanting to hold. Towards the end of the year, or towards the end of this whole cycle we're going through, we see a 6 of disc, which is success. It's Moon and Taurus energy. We see there's a Christ consciousness emerging as well, which I have talked about in a few of the last videos, that this is this whole interface, or a lot of my star seeds in the individual readings, do have this Christ consciousness template and energy that they're embodying and anchoring on the earth. So we're going to see more of an embodiment of that kind of consciousness and frequency and energy, which will help to kind of topple the dark side a little bit more too.
Wow. Thank you, Sol. That was amazing. So if I can recall correctly, the beginning of this transit is kind of where we're, let's say, leaving behind a lot more heaviness. Because at the end of this year transit, we have the success or the victory card. So there's, I feel like a beautiful transition into a lighter, can we say lighter sort of energy, if that makes sense?
Yeah, definitely. And really letting go of old programs, with that 9 of Swords energy too. We traditionally, like in the Rider-Waite deck, you'll see the person sitting in bed with their head in their hands. So sometimes this will also be about like letting go of victimhood, letting go of projections and things, or letting go of any shame and guilt. We're really going to be like cleansed and released from that, and really looking, I keep getting the word strip back from spirit. So we did have 3 of disc come straight after this too. So, stripping away with everything, or this whole old persona of who we are, it just feels like a spiritual rebirth would be another way to describe it.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense with the astrology as well, because Jupiter has a lot to do with our spiritual path, and Gemini is a lot lighter as an energy than the previous sign was. Taurus is an earthly, material, heavy. Well, not heavy in the energetic sense, but heavy in the sign that it's very material. And Gemini is an air sign, so it's like going to. And I believe you said that in the galactic show that we become less particles, more frequencies, that the words that you used, more
Yeah.
waves.
Yeah, so if we're looking into like manifestation and looking into the quantum physics side of things, there's a lot more density when we look into, particles, or if we look into an electron. Whereas when we're not sort of focused so much on trying to control the outcome, which makes us more kind of particle, we sort of want to be disconnected from the outcome of what we're manifesting and get more into that wave and that frequency alignment. So this would be doing things, that really kind of make you feel aligned with that character that you're creating, or this rebirth version. So it would be really working with dropping like a lot of old habits associated with your old version of self, or with anything that's tied into like guilt or shame, or any of that Nine of Swords energy that's going to keep you mentally imprisoned. So yeah, this will be just a really exciting time. And I'm
Yeah.
so excited to have the placements as well that you and I have. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into the 12 signs. But right before, I'd like to remind everybody that if you'd like to get a personal reading with Solreta, so tonight we're going to kind of showcase another, let's say, another strength of yours. So which the AT stuff, we're going to leave that for Friday. But tonight we're going to focus more on the personal, let's say, reading type of things, the personal tarot, oracle cards. So Sol is absolutely amazing at reading for people. She is a natural psychic. So if you have, let's say, more of a sector of your life you'd like Sol to get to read into, or if you would like to get a more general reading in your life, it is very also practical. I have to say, I had one a few weeks ago, I think, before leaving for here. And man, so you were right on point with everything that you said. You are amazing. So I highly recommend getting a personal reading with this amazing lady right over here. And of course, you can choose between the starseed reading and also the mystical oracle reading, which is much more what we're going to do tonight. We're going to go with the oracle cards, let's say, how can we say, downloading messages for all the 12 zodiac signs on a more personal, practical kind of level. And both appointments with Sol come with an aura reading and also an aura drawing that you will get after your reading. So I highly recommend getting one of those if you haven't already. And if you feel also like you are going through a lot of changes, this is always a good time to consult with a psychic that you believe in. And of course, Sol is amazing. And before you book your next appointment with Sol, you can use also, the code Jupiter. So that's on maisonjupiter.com. So use Jupiter when you're at checkout to get 10% off your next reading. So yes, and let me know in the chat, guys, if you had an appointment with Sol and how was it? What would you say to other people? So let's.
Thank you. I can see there's a couple in the chat of my beautiful clients, and yeah, thank you for that beautiful message, Julie. I really appreciate it.
You have such a big heart, and you are so good and so on point. Like everything you told me, Sol, was amazing. One time we were like before a show really quickly, and she's like, "Oh, let me pull cards for you," and I was like, everything that you said was exactly what you said. So it really helped me into understanding the situation, changing my point of view, changing my perspective, changing my frequency. And I thank you so much, beautiful soul sister. And Corbin is saying Solreta's readings are amazing. Yes, definitely. Devs is saying Solreta's the best. Yes. And Celestial Emma is saying it's on my wish list. Yay. And thank you, Carrie. Sol is an earth angel. I have very much enjoyed my readings.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's a shower of love for you, Sol. But you deserve it so much. All right, guys. So now let's talk about the 12 zodiac signs. So we'll begin with the first one. So Aries, I'll talk briefly about the astrology for Aries. So you can look at your sun sign, your rising sign. Those two are going to be the most potent for the sign by sign prediction. And of course, you can also look at the moon for a more internal type of reading. So let's talk about Aries. So rising, I would say the first one, and then sun sign will be also a really good one to look at. So for Aries, sun, rising, or moon, Jupiter will enter your third house of Gemini, of course. So it will bring a lot of expansion to your communications, to your learning in general. So you will be guided to learn new things. It will showcase a lot of things that you might want to learn, to tweak a little bit, to add even more, let's say, qualities to your day-to-day life. There will be definitely some new opportunities to learn practical skills for you, Aries. Also opportunities to teach, especially with Geminian things, so social media, communication, marketing, business, practical skills, languages. And also, I believe a lot of Aries will be asked to find or become a mentor, teach something, or become a guide, or find a guide for you. So there will be this axis of teaching something and then learning something. And I believe most Aries will be balancing both at the same time. So it will really be a good thing to find a mentor or teacher if there's something you would like to get better at. Also, another big theme for Aries is going to be learning to communicate even better. So with Jupiter expanding your house of communications, so that will be a big theme for Aries this year. The other big theme will be travels. So I believe Aries will be very busy. Gemini is a very busy sign, so always on the move. So there's a lot of possible moves also for Aries, like changing your place of living, which is the third house, changing your car, which is also the third house. So I believe there's going to be a lot of busyness, a lot of moving around, a lot of going from one place to another. So a lot of busy energy, but throughout this, I believe that there's going to be a bigger lessons for you to really learn how to focus your attention of what really matters for you. Jupiter is kind of having this focused energy. All right, so can we pull some cards, please, for our Aries?
Let's have a look into Aries. And I just thought it's going to come out because the card stopped. I'm pretty sure it was my Emperor. Yeah. So you guys are showing up in your own reading. So we've got Aries energy. So, if you're using this wisely, it could be a really good time for you guys to expand. I do feel a lot of entrepreneurial energy around this. And even when you were talking too, just kept feeling that coming through. So I'll flip these straight over. So yeah, we've got the Chariot. We do actually have, which is interesting because we had it come up in the collective. So here's my little Chariot. So we might be moving away from things that are no longer aligned, or things that have been oppressive or mentally like holding you guys back. So we are seeing like moving away for things that you just feel out of alignment with. I just keep feeling this energy. I'm like pushing away, or I can't handle it or stand it anymore. And then we have the World card. So there will be some closure for you guys and perhaps moving into your own things. I keep getting a feeling on my head, like with spirit kind of standing and pushing. So for a lot of you, it may have been the business you've been holding back from, putting yourself into. This could even be like some closure around like things that just feel like not in alignment, or heavy oppressive relationship type energy too. We do have Saturn show up, and Sagittarius with the 10 of Wands. So 10 of Wands for me sometimes is not just about, having to hold or carry all of these wands on our back and do like the hard labor. It's sometimes, what can I use? And if we're looking at it from the Gemini perspective, how can we maybe even integrate AI, or look at like information, innovation, things of this sort of nature to overcome, or to perhaps, the words that they're giving is make certain things like obsolete. So old tasks and things that may have been draining, how can we kind of quicken or shorten the road? What can we do in terms of like innovation and things? So yeah, I feel like there might be a little bit of a push towards like entrepreneurial energy for Aries at the moment.
Wow, that makes sense, and that aligns with their nature of being a pioneer in whatever they're doing. This kind of boss quality that Aries has naturally. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, and there was the double phoenix on that Emperor card too. So it could be that you're literally like birthing something new.
Yeah, that would make sense. And the third house is the house of business, also, so it's the house of transactions. So that makes a lot of sense, also.
Interesting.
All right, so now let's talk about our second sign, Taurus. So for you, Taurus, Jupiter will be entering your second house. That's naturally ruled by your sign, Taurus. So I believe this will be very lucky for Tauruses because the second house is all about finances, about what you value, your resources, your material possessions. And Jupiter is a financial planet. It expands things. It's very lucky. So there will be most likely new opportunities to expand your finances and your material possession and to better your financial situation in general. Also, I see for a lot of Taurus a new revenue stream, let's say, especially if it's regarding Jupiterian themes. So along the lines of teaching, mentoring, consulting, also travel, anything that deals with the foreign, like the international, spirituality, philosophy. So any kind of things that kind of touches with the energy of Jupiter might be involved in that new revenue stream that presents itself. So there will likely be an opportunity to gain even more, let's say, wealth for a lot of Tauruses. I believe also lots of Tauruses will be getting lucky with money, which is very, very cool. We're all happy with that. One thing I need to warn the Tauruses is that Jupiter expands stuff, and the second house is all about diet as well. So you might also want to overindulge on a few things, which kind of the dark side of Jupiter, which is not really dark, but it's kind of, you really want to enjoy all of what life has to offer. And with Taurus, and you are a Taurus, in the second house, it kind of like overemphasizes sometimes the diet and fatty stuff, which is Jupiter, and it deals with the liver. So just be careful with that you do not overindulge, because let's say there's also better things to maybe overindulge on. Let's say meditation is not as detrimental for your health. And lastly, also, the second house in ancient astrology is connected to family lineage, history, knowledge. So you could be finding more about your family history, your family lineage, maybe your DNA, something like that could be coming up for you as a theme of research. So that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. And then, Sol, can we please pull some cards for our Tauruses?
So when you popped up Taurus, I started shuffling and 5 cards shot out onto the floor. So yeah, so the cards that we have, Prince of Swords. So this for me sometimes is when we're starting to speak things into existence, or we're really kind of like looking into like what we want to birth or bring into the world, what we would like to reap in terms of harvest. We do see that there's ideas and things also coming in from the universe around this. And we see, with Ace of Swords energy, it's that hand of God giving like that inspiration or encouraging or whispering, like our spirit guides telling us to, like follow that bliss, like take alignment, take aligned action. So we then have what's called the bonus card in the deck, which is choose your own adventure, is the nickname spirit gives this. So this is more kind of like find your center, really kind of like find that balance at the moment, which makes sense, with what you were saying about, not overindulging, things like that. So like, don't be sort of swept off your path. With this, it does represent, and what I sort of see overall is it feels almost that there's this feeling of like speaking and wanting to create certain things, but then we're seeing sort of like old patterns holding energies back, because we do have the Tower card and the 7 of Disc, which is also known as the card of failure in this deck. So I feel like there's a manifestation happening from 2 opposite ends of the spectrum for some of our beautiful Taurus. So what this could look like, and I've given this analogy before, it's like, you want the mansion, but then like thinking, or kind of alignment wise, you think you're only capable of getting the tiny home. So we're sort of seeing this like plateau kind of energy in the middle. I do feel that there's some things that you guys might need to reassess, some purging type energy to let go of over this next year. I feel like spirit is trying to bring beautiful new things, and they're trying to level you up in terms of what you think that you have available to you. I feel like a lot of you are going like this in regards to new opportunities and things. So do make time to like still yourself with meditation, because you do have a lot of like things on the spirit side of things that are wanting to come in, wanting to like get you to like really feel inspired. But yeah, we might need to let go of some of the old stuff. And because we're seeing this more in future placement, you might be getting the ideas in that, but there might be a lot more acting out of fear or acting in terms of creating a safety net. So it's like, yeah, I'll commit to this, but this is my backup plan on the safety net. And so the universe doesn't know what to do with that. So you end up kind of stuck, in this middle. Does that all make sense, Julie?
Oh yeah, more than you know, Sol, because because the second house is about what you value and also how you value yourself, and Jupiter is all about bringing expansion and opening your consciousness. So and it's also about beliefs. So when you were talking about the tiny house versus the mansion, it's all about also what do you, let's say, changing some limiting belief that make you think that you don't deserve or you don't have this self-value that you actually have. So that makes a lot of sense. Awesome. Thank you. So now let's shift into Gemini. So Gemini, this is very exciting because Jupiter is going to be entering your sign. And if you're like Sol, if you're a Gemini rising, it will be entering your first house. And if you're a Gemini sun, is also please look into your rising sign and your sun sign. But that's amazing because Jupiter will bring lucky opportunities to you. And since it's your first house, it's kind of the carte blanche house. So it's like universe kind of gives you the choice of what do you want to manifest. So you will have an internal work to do about what is it that you would like to invest your energy in. And that's where probably you will see magical, lucky opportunities come in. So you are definitely the luckiest sign. It's a really good portal of energy to manifest your deepest personal desires. So the first house is everything that deals with your personal desires. For you, what do you want for your life? Aside of what everybody thinks, aside of their own interests, aside of your relationships, what do you want for yourself? So it's an amazing transit to find the right help at the right time. So Jupiter is also associated with help and help from the spirit team also. So you will definitely find the right person at the right time, like you had the synchronicity with the ET landing side. So that's exactly what we're talking about here for Jupiter entering your first house. So it's having like instant synchronicities, manifestation. So I think that what you were saying earlier for all the signs of being very mindful of how do you use the words is even more powerful for Geminis because it's your first house is like instant type of manifestation, especially if your frequency is super high, of course. So a really good time to ask your guides for any kind of help regarding anything you would like to better in your life or manifest. You will have definitely many opportunities to up level in life that will be presented to you. I think it's going to be not like a Saturn type of way or Pluto. Jupiter is more soft, so I think it will be presented beautifully. It will be like a nice experiment. Also, a lot of you Geminis will, let's say, being pushed by the universe to become even more of a teacher, which is Jupiter, a mentor, a guide for other people in something that you are well versed in, or that might be something new for a lot of people. So because it's entering your first house, the universe is pushing you to share what you know about something specific because it's going to be of use to a lot of people in the coming period of time. And lastly, lots of traveling is possible at this time. So you just need to put that on your wish list and it will probably be granted during this year. Awesome. So can we pull some cards for our beautiful Gemini?
So I had 5 cards jump out again. So the first 2 that we had, Queen of Swords. So, and I keep hearing Queen of the Fairies.
That's you.
Yeah, and it's this air, swords type energy too. But I do feel it's a time to kind of immerse ourselves more into the magic. So it's to, even though we know that it's about balance, because with Gemini, we can get kind of lost with the fairies and things too. But Ace of Swords, she would be one of the queens of like speaking things into existence and manifestation. So she's about liberation, freedom, taking the mask off. There is this call to kind of stand more in this position of teaching, or exactly like you were saying. We have this 9 of disc as well, which is Venus and Virgo energy. So it's a really kind of beautiful feminine energy. For me, this is sometimes about community, sometimes about parties, connections, whether it's social connections, things of that sort of nature. So we sort of see this like strong pull to really come into yourself, to really, be that queen of the party, or kind of, look at, as you were saying, teaching and different things. But we then have the 7 of Wands. So this is called the card of valor. It's sometimes like where we're having to make sure that, and sometimes Geminis can sort of struggle with this because they're pulled into multiple directions. So we are seeing sometimes like to watch out at the moment, or over this next year, to be careful like what you're putting your energy towards. Are you doing things because it like feels at the core that this is what it's meant to be? Or are you doing it out of kindness? Or are you doing it out of a sense of, oh, but I have to? So really look at like spiritually, where are you putting your energy at the moment? Because what we're sort of seeing here is this is about making time for yourself. So I'm sort of seeing, don't waste this year, and don't waste this opportunity with the Jupiter energy. So with the 7 of Wands, it's like we were trying to like fight things off, or, the words that Spirit's saying, it's almost like to go into hiding or to go into hibernation, to make sure that you're not going to get distracted, because this is a huge personality trait with a lot of the Geminis, in that they're multiply distracted in so many different areas. They love like learning lots about multiple different things. So we're seeing at the moment, get really quiet, let go of a lot of the distraction. And we've got a 4 of Cups. So with this 4 of Cups, we know traditionally it's the man with the crossed arms looking at, the 3 cups under the tree, the focused on the material, but God, or that hand from the heavens, is trying to give like that new inspiration, that new idea, getting us to look at like, our feelings. Sometimes this can also represent looking after your health too. So I do feel with the Gemini energy, don't waste this year is sort of like what's coming up. Really look at how can you make sure that you commit and get the most out of your skills, your community. How can you be of service the most, and how can you kind of, I guess, rise up and deliver like high value? And I really feel it's about not letting yourself down with this other energy, and don't take on things or overcommit. 4 of Cups also is, in my favorite version of that, it's Kuan Yin sitting and meditating in a storm, and you just want to walk up to her and be like, get out of the storm, it's about to rain. So what is it that we're ignoring, that perhaps we need to move out of alignment away from as well? So interesting, we do have a little bit of a theme in kind of like looking at different things throughout the signs so far over the year. Yeah.
Definitely. And yeah, I love the message about focusing your attention more, because I believe that you summed up very well Jupiter and Gemini, and especially for the Geminis. All right, so let's switch to the next one. We have Cancer. So for you, Cancers, Jupiter will be entering your 12th house. So that's going to be a more of an internal transformation that's going to be taking place. Your spirituality is going to be highlighted, your beliefs, which is at the 12th house, but also Jupiter. So that will be a much more spiritual, let's say, energy for you, Cancers. I believe a lot of you will become even more spiritual, or more in touch with your unconscious, or your, let's say, your spirit team, which is also the 12th house. A lot of you could be learning about a new form of spirituality, or a healing modality, which is all about also the 12th house. And some of you could also be teaching it because Jupiter is also the teaching planet. So there will be this mix of learning and teaching that could be going on. But I believe the theme of spirituality or healing will be coming up very powerfully for you guys. Also, there will be opportunities to expand your consciousness with travel. The 12th house rules faraway places, spiritual retreats, islands, places near water. So you could be, let's say, guided by your team to physically be in one of those places to really, let's say, transcend some limiting beliefs that you had, transcend some karmic experiences, which is also the 12th house. A lot of you might find a new spiritual guide or a new mentor to help you with, which is also about the 12th house. You will feel your guides be very present around you. And if you have deceased people around you, you will be feeling them very much. So you can have like clearer messages, clearer downloads, intuition from them, from your team. Any kind of spiritual practice for you Cancers will be very, very powerful for kind of what the universe is pushing you to learn this year. So meditation, yoga, and I'm sure, Soul, you're going to be giving others through your reading, but any kind of spiritual practice where you kind of look inside of yourself, inside of outside, will be very potent. And yeah, this is what I have for Cancers. Can we look at the cards?
So I've got 6 cards for Cancer, and I just had goosebumps the whole way through you reading that. So I actually feel this kind of otherworldly energy coming in to support Cancer. The way that they're sort of showing me, it's like being aware and conscious of this being held within the womb space of the universe is what they're showing me. So I do feel that this is sort of like really birthing into yourself. Is what we're seeing, but understanding this connection with like where you come from, why you're here. We start out with an 8 of Wands energy. So this card, when it comes up for me, is what I call a quantum jump card. So where we're talking about with some of the other signs that there could be things that we fall back into or old habits or distractions and things. An 8 of Wands can feel distracted or like a compass out of control. It's Sagittarius and Mercury energy. So for me, instead of shooting all these different directions or kind of like, spreading out energy thin, it's always to get into the quantum jump version of this, which would be the High Priestess. So she puts a bow and arrow down. She fully is in alignment with who she is and starts to feel into the creation of that. So I do feel there's a quantum jump available for Cancer if they want to take it. We then see the Sun energy, which is not only about connecting to your inner child, it's about happiness. It is about growth and expansion as well. It's actually about being like a luminary or kind of like lighting up a certain space. So as you were saying, like with teaching or kind of like lighting up in the world of spirituality, we have a Prince of Wands. So a few of you could be making smaller movements towards starting to take action around this. There could be more of an alignment or contracts and agreements and things too that we see with this. So partnerships or coming into, certain kind of alignments that are really good that will also help you in terms of community. So a 10 of Disc, you might even start to, whether it's like charge for certain services. I keep feeling like a course type energy in the background with this, or bringing some kind of like teaching to light. If you are involved in like spirituality, I do feel because they're showing me different frequency vibrations of certain types of Cancers. So what they're sort of showing, it's like if you are in alignment with like your best and highest good, we're definitely on this roadmap to Ace of Wands energy. So you're going to be getting download after download. This is like a really good time for you to channel and to bring through messages over this year. With some of them, I'm also getting like another dualistic vision of some that are perhaps more kind of like, say, in a job that they're really not happy with, you're going to keep getting intuition or messages to like take action or to perhaps like get yourself out of situations. So if you're really not following your intuition, that volume on things feeling like a little bit harder or more resistance, I sort of see there's an energy of more where you're going to feel a little bit more stuck. So I do feel this is about taking that quantum jump, that leap of faith, and really starting to apply, everything to become. But yeah, Ace of Wands at the end of this too. So different community alignments might bring in, putting you in exactly where you're supposed to be.
Wow. Okay. So that looks like a big, big year for Cancers. Thank you
Yeah,
so. Very,
goosebumps.
yeah, I'm very excited. My mom is a Cancer, and I hope everything you said is going to be on point, and I know it's going to be. So she's going to be blessed. Let's look into our lovely Leos. So for you Leos, Jupiter will be entering your 11th house. So 11th house is a very blessed house in astrology. It is a financial house, and Jupiter is a financial planet. So there could be some opportunities to become more wealthy. And also, the 11th house is a social house. So there will likely be opportunities for Leos to expand your social circle or your community or your fans if if you are online, if you have a public, for example. Your clients is also another possibility. And the 11th house is a financial house because of your network. So, because of the people you know, of the community you build, this is where you are able to become more wealthy with that. Or more, let's say, successful. So there will be some new opportunities to increase your financial gains with your network, your social medias, your social circle, or just people you know. For Leos in general, there will be an opportunity to find even more members of your soul tribe, to find new like-minded people that share your beliefs, which is also Jupiter, especially spiritual beliefs. And also, the 11th house is the house of manifesting long-term goals. So there will be really great opportunities for Leos to look at what do you want to manifest for the long term and prepare to realize your long-term dreams and step into action. And you're going to have some, let's say, opportunities to do so step by step. And also, another thing that I wanted to share about Leos is that there's a possibility for public recognition with that 11th house, for awards, for shining, which is also about Leo, in social settings. So your light will likely be shining even more brighter with that transit Leos. So you are a beautiful Leo. Can you please share with us what the cards have to say?
So the first one that I have is the Prince of Cups. So for me, this is his little nickname is the Shaman card. So it's being able to kind of, float between worlds, receive information. For me, this is the card that when it comes out, it always comes out in a reading when I'm dealing with a healer or someone who is kind of more of a shamanic type energy. So I do feel like for a lot of the Leos at the moment as well, there is certain gifts and things that they bring to the world. So we see with the Blue Lotus too, this is kind of like his magic or his medicine that he's here to like bring into the world. And we see 10 of Cups. So as you were saying about like, bringing things into fruition, or kind of like life's work, things like that, I do feel that there's certain things that Leo will be tapping into this year and is sort of turning it up full volume. What we do see as well is we see a 5 of disc energy. So really to pay attention to your thoughts, to your worries, to your fears, kind of beliefs in that is really what they want you to focus on, especially mid-year. We also see the Ace of Disc. So things might not exactly be happening in the way that you've planned it. There could be like different sort of like things that are more of alignment to the direction that you're going in. So I do feel it's actually not having like the blinders on, like the horse has the little eye covers and they can only see sort of like ahead of them. I feel that this is really opening up to a broader audience and to expansion energy. So I do feel you have to be like living in your light. You have to kind of like be shining this sort of energy as opposed to the 5 of disc. So with this, we have the Magnus, which is the illuminated magician. He also represents like being this Neo in the Matrix. So really kind of like, when the bullets are flying at him, he's like, it's not even part of my reality. So this is that ability to be able to tune out to things too that are not for you, but this ability to come into alignment with like attracting certain things. So his little weakness or his downfall is this Achilles heel. So energetically really protecting yourself, protecting your ideas. And I think it was maybe one of the last zodiac readings that you did, the last video. I think it was you and Sophie talking about protecting, things that you're creating. So I feel that here with this sort of energy too. So if you are perhaps like writing a book or you're birthing something, make sure that you're not sort of talking to people that are going to pull you into this worry or this disillusion or disbelief type energy. We see abundance at the end of it too. So it could be somewhat of a little bit of a bumpy road. Definitely let go of the words they're giving me are weeds in the garden. So if there's anything kind of neurologically or old belief system wise that you need to kind of purge, we do see like a really good alignment otherwise. It looks like very prosperous is the word that Spirit gives me with this. It's kind of like the world is your oyster and you're standing there like really just drawing things to you rather than have to actively go and search for these sorts of things. There's also sort of like, I call this a sisterhood connection or like the witches reuniting with the Three of Cups too. So you might also be introduced or have people that you're really connected with on a soul level. And this is Mercury and Cancerian energy. So like aligned with thoughts, aligned with like intuition, which is definitely me with you girls. It was I see like us witches together.
Yes, the witches reunited. But that makes a lot of sense because the 11th house is the people you connect to on a soul level, and also because of your beliefs, because of, it's kind of a, what's the word, soul tribe kind of house. So that makes sense that a lot of like members from your soul tribe will be more important in this coming year and bringing in new projects and collaborations and opportunities. So awesome. Thank you. Now let's talk about Virgos. Yay, Virgos. So yes, as we said in the beginning, for Virgos, it's going to be a very important transit because Jupiter will be transiting through your 10th house. So whenever there's a planet, an outside planet, transiting in one of your angular houses, which is the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, or the 10th, it means that it will be a very impactful transit for you. So very important time for Virgos. The 10th house is all about your public life. So it's your time to shine, basically, Virgos. There will be lots of opportunities to be even more out there, to become recognized for what you do, to shine even brighter, to speak louder, to voice what you have to say. So usually Virgos are more like they want to be behind the scenes more, but with this transit with Jupiter in your 10th house, you're being asked to come into the limelight even more. So a lot of Virgos, and it's also the house of career, which is very connected to Virgos, which is usually traditionally rules the 6th house of work. 10th house is the house of career also. So a lot of Virgos will be taking on a new important role in life, in your life mission, or at work, in your career, in your public life. So a lot of Virgos will be changing also their public status, which is the 10th house. So it could either be work related or relationship related. So another way that we could see it is like changing your social status as being recently engaged, married, divorced, for example. So those are kind of changes to your social status publicly, what people see, but also your work, how people view you. Like you're going to step into a new role and Jupiter is going to be behind you, expanding that area of your life. So there will likely be expansion in your career if you are still working, bringing some luck, some positive development. Also, if you have a business, there could be really good, let's say, a business increase in your sales. And lastly, a lot of Virgos will be asked to step into a teaching role, into a consulting role, a mentoring role, coaching role, to help a lot of people about what they know. So a lot of you will be asked to step into a new role, to become sort of an expert of something and to guide other people in what you know. So this is what I have for Virgo. Can we please pull some cards, Sol?
Yeah. And I was just listening to that. And I think Lorianne was saying as well about you being the Virgo sun. And that's what I kept feeling. I'm like, this just feels so beautiful for you this year. And
Thank you.
the High Priestess. So you're showing up in your own reading. was the high priestess. So yeah, we see you just fully, in alignment with her. We see that there's a strong vibration around the crown chakra. And she literally is just like fully living into her energy. So we were saying before about like, the Eight of Wands energy, and she has that bow and arrow, or, she's not shooting out the wand. She's literally just radiating and expanding exactly who she is, why she's come here. We then see the Ten of Disc as well, which is, for me, it is, not just to do with wealth, but it's community. So we're also seeing with this, there's a growth and expansion with who you are, but taking out in a community sense. What you were saying before, like I was just sort of like having this inner nod as you were talking about it, because I could see the cards too. So there's an alchemy, but I really feel this is more around like that uptake into the teaching role too. So it's the alchemization of everything that you've been through, you've experienced, this inner understanding that we can kind of formulate and make sense of the world. So I feel there's a beautiful kind of integration happening with that and the star card. So, with this being Aquarius energy and with the star card, it's really kind of channeling like the reason of like why you're here. And really, with the hair being the antenna, this is about picking up on your spidey senses and really kind of feeling like and fulfilling this prophecy of why you're here too. So we see her pour the celestial crystals onto the ground, which is like, everything that you've walked through, everything that you've experienced is like tying it together in a package to help others. So I feel like with Virgo energy, they can sometimes be a little bit tougher on themselves. We do have 10 of Swords. So I do feel this is to look at like things from a different point of view, like more removed. Like it looks almost like looking at the whole path that you've walked so far and saying, okay, well, this obstacle happened or this, and really kind of looking at it as, okay, well, how did I overcome that? Or who am I, now because of like this experience or situation? So I feel like with a lot of Virgo energy, it's really actually looking at it not from that place of, because they can be quite critical or hard on themselves or like really pick apart, different things that happen. But I actually feel like this is really looking at the whole trajectory of everything that you've learned so far. And they keep showing me a present and a bow and packaging it. So I do feel there's going to be a lot of Virgos step into more roles of where they're not as hard on themselves, or they're kind of looking at, being a little bit gentler with themselves this year and a little bit more kind of like loving and nourishing with self. But I just keep seeing teaching come up with this and like expansion and growth around like building networks and around, I keep hearing the word communication too. So whether the Gemini aspect is also bringing this, but I keep seeing like lots of people or like a network, like how you've got LinkedIn or you've got, other social networks. I keep just seeing this energy come in really big in the cards too. So yeah, it feels like a good year, but yeah, just make sure that you're releasing any of the swords that are coming up. You're like, you know what, that's not actually mine. I'm just going to return to center. Does that all make sense too?
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Sol. And Lorianne is saying, Julie, we are so proud of your change and progress. You and Sol are going to accomplish great things together and individually. Thank you so much, Lorianne. I appreciate that very much. And yeah, I feel like it's going to be a very important transit for both of you, both of us. I mean, Sol and I, but also for all of you watching, because Jupiter is very connected to spirituality. So any kind of spiritual community is going to gain even more. Awesome. So let's talk about Libra now. Libra, Jupiter will enter your very, very lucky house, your 9th house, which is the house naturally ruled by Sagittarius, which is very lucky. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So there's a huge link there. So whenever Jupiter enters the 9th house of someone, it kind of amplifies the power of Jupiter on the positive side. So very, very lucky year for Libras, especially Libra rising. But of course, Libra Sun are going to feel it as well. Luck will follow you basically everywhere. And not to say that, of course, you will probably get other transits in your birth chart that can be a little tougher. I had that. Was it last year? Yeah, last year. And at the same time, I had like a Pluto square Pluto. So of course I had challenges at the same time, but having Jupiter transit your 9th house is going to overall give a feeling of optimism, of feeling blessed. And along, let's say, challenges, you will be blessed by universe by a lot of opportunities to grow. It's a really good year to ask help from your spirit team to help you with anything, basically. So the ninth house is how you're supported by your guides, your spirit team, your higher self. You will likely get some new opportunities to expand your consciousness with enriching experiences, with travels, which is also the ninth house, with learning, with teaching, foreign people. A lot of Libras will be asked to teach something, become a guide, a coach, a mentor for some people, which is also the definition of the ninth house. So we get kind of a double whammy on that topic. Also a very high possibility for travels. I said it already, but travels are kind of coming in big for Libras. And also, lastly, a lot of you can get lucky in legal affairs, immigration affairs, anything that has to do with kind of papers, legal papers. You will be supported getting the help from this realm, but also the other realm to pursue whatever you're pursuing in that regard. So can we, oh, I saw a beautiful bird in your background. So can we please pull some cards for our beautiful Libras?
Yeah, so it's interesting just looking at the cards, what you were saying about like connecting with guides and things like that is coming up in the cards. I also see looking into past life energy coming up really strong with Libra too. And I've got a Libra moon. So what you were saying came with the teaching. I think I've had it come up for like most of, my main signs at the moment too, which is exciting. And it's just, yeah. There's an interesting spread of cards for Libra. So we start off with Seven of Wands energy. So as we had, I think this was maybe for Gemini as well, about needing to, look at like, what is it that we're kind of fighting for? This is Leo and Mars energy too. So what is it that you're putting kind of like your gumption, your fire, everything behind to birth over this next year? So I do feel there's like huge opportunity, but don't waste it on getting distracted or kind of, fighting things that are more of the, the invisible or things. The word that they're giving me is like wasting time on things that are not even to do with you. We have the Prince of Cups again as well. So there's definitely this ability for Libra to open up, to channel, to kind of go between worlds. I do feel there's past life energy very strong too with Libra over this year. So maybe there's certain learnings and downloads and pattern recognition that you're seeing with other past lives. So huge year to kind of like really not just journey, how you were saying like journey and travel. I see that energy come up too with my the Fool card, but I also see this as a journey and travel and look at like the patterns and themes over like your last lifetime. So I do feel there's some purging taking place for some of the Libras, but I also feel there's a regaining of skills and gifts and talents that are going to be resurfacing. So when we let go of old lifetime blockages or vows, perhaps that we may have taken to tone our gifts down, there's going to be a lot of Libras that are developing a lot of supernatural type gifts and abilities and really birthing new understanding and new ways of connecting with intuition. So with the Fool card, he also, if I look at him from a feminine archetype, is Alice in Wonderland. So this is a huge like rabbit hole year for you guys. But I feel like it's really, with this card, I call it gold pilling. So it's not having to really go outside of yourself or like red pill and try and get people to understand. This is you actually stepping more into your luminous light and you're gold pilling people from this beautiful light that you kind of have within. Where you were saying, I think it was about possibly like funds and things coming from like the legal side of things. We do have abundance come up as well. And it does look like it might possibly be to do with a struggle, to do with this lust card that we have. So we see here her higher self's activated, but she's having to kind of like struggle or like close off some sort of situation in order to have a fresh new beginning. So I do feel there are some things, I've got another word, skeletons in the closet, things like this that you might have to do away with. It really just sort of feels like that it's this whole kind of like cleanup of past life energy and really kind of tying things off in a bow and finishing up certain areas of life to really have like this fresh, brand new beginning and start, which feels a lot more spiritual, a lot less of a weight. So it feels that you're able to kind of like just glide into the rest of the year.
Wow, awesome. Okay, so an interesting year for our beautiful Libras. I love that. And regaining some hidden, let's say, gifts or gifts from past lives. I love that because I know a lot of Libra risings. So, and I feel that very much. So,
And I just want to add to that too. They're showing me it could feel like really unbalanced for like this year. So keep coming back to your center. Just keep asking yourself, all right, where is my center? And I keep seeing this gold heart.
wow. So, okay. So a lot of transformation for our Libras. I love that. Okay, so now let's talk about our beautiful Scorpios. And I know there's a lot of you in this beautiful community because you guys are highly psychic. And Jupiter will enter your 8th house that's traditionally ruled by Scorpio. So even though any kind of transit usually to the 8th house might be, let's say, harder, I want to say. This one, first of all, is Jupiter, which is the great benefactor. So it's not going to be anything very heavy or dark. And the 8th house is your house, Scorpio. So I think it's kind of you're very accustomed to that sort of energy of being in constant transformation. But nonetheless, I feel like Jupiter is going to bring some more intensity in your life. And as if you guys, Scorpios, didn't have already enough intensity, I'm sure. And also luck in regards to Scorpionic themes. So any kind of themes that deals with transformation, intimacy, death, rebirth, shared finances, and also money you owe to someone, which can be the 8th house, money you pull together with someone. So Jupiter might be bringing also opportunities to better those themes of those kind of situations for you. Also, it will highlight the possibility for you to transform even more easily, finding some people that will help you to do so. Jupiter is guides, getting help. So a lot of you might feel like you need to do some therapy, or you might get some sort of, let's say, help from, let's say, psychic. Let's say you want to book with someone that you believe in. So that could be that kind of getting a help, a mentor, a coach, a guide into this phase of transformation. Also, it will highlight for you the possibility to transform and up-level psychologically, which is the 8th house, gaining more consciousness on your healing journey and making it easier. So although it will be a lot of transformation as well, I feel like Jupiter is here to ease that process this year of a big transformation for you, Scorpios. Also, that could bring luck into regarding your shared finances. So that could be really good. Also, the 8th house is, if you have let's say, a partner, a marriage partner, or a business partner, is also the resources and the money of that partner. So that could be, there could be really good opportunity for your partner to expand his resources, his finances. Also receiving financial abundance, because the 8th house is all about receiving. It's also about receiving from other people, being blessed with like connection with other people, allowing you to become even more prosperous. And also, I feel like a lot of Scorpios are going to be nudged by the universe to help other people on their own healing journey, becoming a sort of a mentor, a guide, a teacher, or just someone that listens to, let's say, friends around you, helping them on their journey. And you're going to be like, yeah, I went through that, and I can tell you like blah, blah, blah. So that kind of a coaching position, even though it's not for every Scorpio an official one that you're going to get. You can also be an unofficial therapist for some people. And that's going to be very, let's say, positive for that Jupiter entering your 8th house, because it's going to bring a lot more blessings to you. So what can we say to our Scorpios with the cards?
It's so interesting because we do have the 8 show up here as well. So we've got 8 of discs. This is Virgo and Sun energy. For me, this is like a little bit of movement as well. So, things that you might have like previously kind of like planted, and I did get an overall yellow color come up when I was picking the cards. Just sort of like that was the clairvoyant impression that I received. So yellow for me is usually kind of like a yellow flag representing study, education, learning, and teaching. So what you were saying about like the coaching side of things, we see here there's a lot of wisdom with the Hermit card, or I call him the Merlin card too. So we do see this is sort of like, kind of coming out to light the way for others, perhaps. I do see energies around this kind of like, sharing of wisdom or study, education, learning, but I also felt relationship energy quite strong for Scorpio this year. So they might be, recognizing certain patterns within relationships, or looking at sort of like what you've been attracting, I feel is a big one. I really kind of feel there's this sort of for a reflective type quality and looking into how you're interacting with things. So we do have the Hanged Man, or the Enlightened Illuminated one. I call him the Matrix Breaker. So it also sometimes represents where we're bringing in new energy to kind of influence or do things differently compared to how we've done things in the past. A lot of my Scorpios as well might be feeling a bit exhausted when it comes to relationships. So really making sure you're taking that time out for yourself. With this Knight of Discs too, you might be feeling a bit frustrated, leading up to this year. But I do feel this is a year for big breakthroughs and different, stepping outside of the box to really kind of start to create the life that you want for yourself. I do feel there's certain energies holding back, or certain sort of fixed or stubborn more kind of mindsets that are not allowing more energy to come in. So I do feel this is about really breaking free from self, with this energy of the Hermit as well. It is a Virgo card too. So making sure that you're not creating things, situations, scenarios in your head, because I do feel there's a lot of psychic energy. And Scorpio is quite magical, quite like charged. So you guys, if you're thinking about like, yourselves as this little battery or this little magnet, what is it that you're putting into this container that's psychically sending ripples out into the universe? Because that's what we're seeing here with this Hanged Man energy. And for a lot of you, it is messages around like relationships and things being hard, things just taking time. So that's kind of what you're rippling out to the universe in a little way. For others, it might be, other situations or scenarios. But yeah, I really feel at the moment, the overall main message is looking at yourself as a container or a battery, and what sort of charge are you holding like within? So we maybe want to address or change the story, or change the charge.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The eighth house is all about a huge internal transformation. So thank you for that, Phil. I'm sure a lot of Scorpios are going to appreciate that reading. Now let's talk about Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this is your planet. So of course, this is going to be an important transit for you. And not only that, but also it will enter your seventh house, which is one of the angular houses. So a very, very important year for Sagittariuses. So the seventh house is all about any kind of partnerships, relationships. So a very lucky time ahead for Sagittariuses when it comes to your relationships. If you are single, if you have Sagittarius sun, rising, moon, a really good time to find a soulmate, get married, even especially for women, because in ancient astrology, Jupiter represented the husband. So when it comes in transits your seventh house, a lot of women might get either married or finding a long-term partner within the year ahead. So, but of course, relationships, not only romantic, it's all sorts of relationships. It could also be a business partner coming in. It could be an important teacher, an important friend that serves as a teacher. There will likely be a very high emphasis on your relationships, and positively so. Also, a lot of opportunities to become more financially abundant with partnerships and with collaboration is coming for you, Sagittariuses. So a really good idea to look into what kind of people have similar let's say, philosophies, similar, you feel like are like-minded individuals. So that those type of collaboration will really get you far with the year ahead. Also, it can mean that a mentor, a guide, a teacher enters your life to help you with something, either for the long term or for a period of time, to help you up level in some kind of way. And relationships in general will be very, very important, a very important focus for you, Sagittarius. So what do we have for our beautiful Sagittariuses?
Yeah, and I'm just flipping the cards. I was mesmerized by, because like when you're talking about this, sometimes like you can see that you're channeling that energy or vibration. And I could not turn down the vision that Spirit was like clairvoyantly giving me so strong. I actually saw you as, you know, those old religious pictures of like Mother Mary who has like the halo or the crown, and then you see like the heart on fire. I
Yeah.
kept feeling like this embodiment of like divine feminine pregnancy type energy around this Sagittarius energy. So I do feel it's
Wow.
like fully like glowing, like magnetic, like really like radiating. And I just realized it's the sun card followed by the Aeon, which also has womb space pregnancy energy. So what you were saying like about relationships and things like that, it could be relationships that all of a sudden like your whole life is different or transformed. So it could be like meeting someone that literally is a soul alignment with this Ace of Wands. So different people being put on your path and your whole life changing is what I'm feeling with Sagittarius. Another goosebump sign for this year. So yeah, I just feel like huge growth, huge transformation. Collectively though, we're still working with letting go of, you know, what will other people think? Like I just feel that there's a purge from the collectiveness to really kind of step up onto this podium, to not worry about like what others are thinking. But yeah, huge energy. I did see an overall tonal color of red. So a lot of like root chakra energy, a lot of sacral chakra, and a lot of there was yellow as well in the mix. So red, yellow, and orange. So I'm seeing like more kind of focused on like your personal empowerment being like a really huge thing for this year. More like, you know, it's like a grounding of your magnetism. So it's learning how to kind of like activate, how to kind of like, the word Spirit's giving me is like dominate the room or kind of like rule the room in terms of like energy and things. But yeah, I just feel like exciting kind of like fertility energy. So it might not necessarily be that, you know, you're going to get pregnant or have a baby, but it could be about birthing new things into the world and just having that alignment with people come in that are helping that to take place or for that to happen. Also the card of the Aeon represents where we're going from 3D into 4 and 5D. It's also to do with dropping other people's projections. We see here Nut, the mother sky goddess, the blue one, and Medusa as well. So she is quite often framed or demonized, but it's actually not who she was. It's more people pointing fingers and saying and projecting things onto her. So this will be also like really not caring what other people think and just moving ahead anyway for Sagittarius.
Wow, I love that. You know, I have a Sagittarius moon, so I feel very connected to this sign too. Thank you, Sol.
You're welcome.
That was amazing. Okay, now let's talk about our next sign, Capricorn. Jupiter will enter your 6th house. And we kind of have that connection with Virgo going on also because Virgos naturally rules the 6th house of work. And Jupiter will transit the 10th house of career. And now we have the opposite. So Jupiter will enter your 6th house of work. And naturally, you rule the house of career. So there is definitely a connection, a huge connection with work for you Capricorns. So a lot of opportunities, I believe, would present themselves for you to expand your work, your job title, maybe your responsibilities in general. So the 6th house is also your daily responsibilities, what you have to do, either if you're, let's say, at the age of working or not. So more opportunities, more responsibilities, but it will be in a positive way. You're going to feel like it's adding value to your life. It feels very positive. It feels inspiring. For a lot of Capricorns, I feel like you will either add a job or add a revenue stream to what you're doing already, but something that you believe in is Jupiter. So it will feel very optimistic. It will feel very positive, very inspiring. For some Capricorn, it could be also becoming a boss or adding more people to your team. So it will feel like very work focused for a lot of Capricorns, which is usually a natural theme for you, Caps. Also, you will become even more conscious of what you do in your daily routine and how you are going through every present moment in your daily routine. So not just doing things automatically. I feel like a lot of Capricorns will integrate more consciousness in their daily lives. And even maybe adding even more a daily spiritual practice, which would be like really very positive with that Jupiter entering your 6th house. And for some other Capricorns, it can also be starting a teacher job, to guide other people, starting to coach other people. So definitely this Jupiter entering your 6th house can mean that you will take on this Jupiterian kind of energy of showing other people, guiding other people into your daily work. So what can we tell our beautiful Capricorns with the cards?
Yeah, and I can see Corbin saying he's got Capricorn rising as well. So with this, I do see an overtone of violet across the year. So this is really great for like psychic and spiritual development, really gaining like and tapping into like your inner vision, your insights and different things. I do feel it's like a huge year for really following your sight and your vision. And I think with a lot of Capricorns being, you know, very earth-based too, it's like they like to touch it, feel it, see it. But I feel like this is a different spiritual development energy coming through over the year. The first card we have actually has the violet color in it. So it's the 6 of Wands, which is victory, success, moving forward, celebration. For me, this is also like a timeline card. So it's really looking at like what timeline you want to be on, letting go of, you know, 5 of Wands energy, which is conflict. You know, this being Saturn and Leo, it's like, what is it sometimes that conflict? So say, for example, you're in a job and it's like you maybe don't like the situation or the boss or, you know, the type of role or task, or there's just not kind of like enough, how would I say, I call this too many cooks in the kitchen. There's like just too many things happening and we're really not producing good work, or it's not really satisfying on a deeper level. I feel like at the moment, it's almost like there's a magnifying glass or a spotlight onto things that perhaps are really like irritating, or kind of like this thorn that's in the side is another energy that we're seeing too. So I feel like things are getting a little bit worse before they get better for a couple of Capricorns too. So it's highlighting where we need to make change is what I'm seeing. So definitely a broadening of horizons, a more kind of like trusting of your vision, your intuition, I feel is like a huge feature this year, and it will bring about change. So we might even see, and I do keep feeling like a lot of work, job related energy come up with this. So we do see like perhaps like this opportunity to, with this for change, this is Jupiter energy with Capricorn. So we've got you guys showing up like with the energy of the moment too. So growth, expansion, change. For me, this is seeing a portal open up and I'm going to run and take the opportunity. And that's exactly what we have come up next with the portal energy with the full card. So we also have more Capricorn energy with the card of the devil. So have a look at, are there people holding you back? Is it you maybe holding yourself back? But yeah, I feel like if you really trust your intuition, I just keep hearing the words, run and dive deep. So I actually feel it's like stepping up into your potential. And we know with the Capricorn, especially with Capricorn and Jupiter energy, Capricorn's not one to turn and look back to see if everyone else is following or to kind of follow the crowd. They carve their own path. So for many Capricorns this year, you'll be carving your own path. You'll be perhaps even doing things that haven't been done before or that seems to be quite new. I'm seeing a lot of people perhaps like unsure on the great changes, because some of you guys might be making huge life-changing decisions this year. So exciting energy.
Wow. So yes, up leveling Capricorns. I love that. Now let's talk about our beautiful Aquarians. So Jupiter will be entering your very positive house, which is called the fifth house of love, creativity, romance, fun. So creativity already. So bringing even more fun, romance, high frequencies into your life. So I feel like this is going to be a beautiful transit. And Jupiter kind of transits, when it transits somewhere, it kind of shows you where you could add even more value to your life. So I feel like Aquarians are going to be reminded how taking vacations, for example, having fun, going on a romantic night out, or creating something, having fun with children, connecting with your inner child, which are all fifth house related experiences. Those experiences are going to be necessary to do whatever you have to do in your life. So sometimes we forget that having fun is also part of the spiritual path and is also part of your life mission. But Aquarians are going to be reminded this year that you're going to have to recharge your battery with those fun experiences before you can be even more of service into your mission, your job, whatever you're doing at the moment. So there will likely be opportunities for you to take a vacation and to travel, which is Jupiter also. So lots of opportunities to really not be working also during vacations, to really take time off, to really recharge, to really reconnect with the nature of joy, of fun, of your inner child, of playing, of being careless, not really having like heavy responsibilities. You will feel very creative. So that will be a very important moment in your life, Aquarians, to reconnect with your creativity and to come up with new ideas, new ways also to expand. If you have a business, that's also the house of business, and also to expand your creations. And in whatever you're doing, you will likely get new important ideas where you can become even more abundant and wealthy, because the fifth house is a house that's also financial, but you receive some wealth, some abundance, because you have some original ideas, because you create something. So this is also the house of business. So if you are also thinking of starting your own project, your own business, this will be a very spectacular year to do so. But as I said earlier, indulging on life is key to also be successful this year with whatever you're doing. So you're going to have fun, find purpose and fun at the same time of whatever you're trying to create. Yes, I said that. And also for if you want children, if you are at this time of your life, it will be a good time. Jupiter can bring more than one, so just be mindful of that. It can also be children around you, but reconnected with that inner child frequency will be key to whatever you're going to be exploring this year. And likely also, if you are singles, you will likely find love during this time. Fifth house is also the house of love, of joy, of reconnected with that, let's say, the flirt, romantic dinners, romantic dates. So very, very positive transit for Aquarians. So what do we have for our Aquarians?
Yeah, so this sign so far today has been the only time that they've asked me to get a different deck out. So we've got the Mythios deck, which is a Greek version. So we actually have the Nine of Wands come out in reverse. So Nine of Wands is, it's a card of strength. It sometimes is like where we've just been through too much and it's like enough is enough would kind of sum up. I have had the whole time you've been talking about it, a vision of being on an island somewhere, being away from everything. So it's this vision, and I can see that looked like a little orb or something falling down. I feel like this is a vision of kind of removing yourself from the world in a way, really like taking time out just to nourish, to replenish energy. We've got the World card again. So for a few of you guys, there's, definitely a finishing up of like old cycles, but it's also about birthing something new. So I feel like this is to sort of get like out of the familiar and out of that like regular daily routine is what we're seeing for a lot of Aquarius energy. We do have a Ten of Swords too. So, this is really about like unburdening yourself is what we're sort of seeing, and ending like a lot of, they just keep showing me it's to get away from the day to day. So, if you can, maybe book a trip, because I do feel like a lot of travel energy. I keep seeing tropical islands. I keep getting the vision predominantly of some place that looks like Bali coming up really, really strong. And I just keep seeing like nourishing yourself with really good food. But what I'm actually seeing is this other sword and wand energy is holding back. It's creating a resistance. So it's actually to take yourself out of that cycle so we can inject fresh new energy, get a whole new vibration and frequency. We have 9 of Cups as well with this. And 9 of Cups for me, it's Jupiter and also Pisces energy. So it's more, instead of like the heaviness of the mental task and everything that you guys have been dealing with and having to take or shoulder another burden and responsibility, we're now able to reconnect with who we are on a spiritual level and just start to kind of like flow and nourish. So for me, an 8 of Cups would be where we're disconnected from spirit. We've not put enough attention and time into it, and we're just purely like living on the steam. It's more where we're just sort of mentally, emotionally just going through day by day. Whereas the 9 of Cups is where we're feeling fulfilled, we're feeling nourished, we're feeling topped up. We then have a 7 of Swords. So 7 of Swords is Moon and Sun and Aquarius energy. So this eclipse for you guys as well was probably like quite a big deal, or quite energetically. You've probably noticed a lot of growth and shifts for some of my clients since the eclipse, especially if they were in like where it actually passed over. I'm seeing double layers of gold within the aura. So huge.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been amazing. So huge spiritual transformation with 7 of Swords. This is not only sometimes a message to watch out for people that are sneaky or are not 100% truthful or trying to pass things over. And I do feel it is to disconnect from that. But it's also, this one sword in my favorite card, it's holding the one sword. And no matter what happens, it's commitment to self. So definitely put yourself first this year. With the Aquarius energy too, it is about like channeling your vision, not having to fulfill or, sort of live into what other people expect or want of you. So I do feel it's actually a huge year for you guys to say no to other people and to say yes to nourishing yourself, really like topping up your flow, your energy. I do see some baby energy for a few of you as well, and like a bit of pregnancy energy. So it could be literally like you have to, whether it's morning sickness or things like that, but take time out for yourself. I feel like it's either like you choosing to actively do it and book the time off, or the universe might kind of make things happen for you. So it's like, do you want to do it the hard way or the easy way? Is a bit of the question for the universe this year.
Wow, I love that for Aquarians, and I have a friend that's Aquarius, and I very much feel like she's connected to what you were reading. So thank you, Sol, for that. And okay, nonetheless, we have our last sign, Pisces. So it's going to be a very important transit for you, Pisces, because Jupiter is going to enter one of the angular houses in astrology. So entering your 4th house of home and family. It's also kind of your base in life, your values, your core. So a very important time, especially for your personal life. Home and family will become a very important focus. Jupiter will also bring expansion to that area of your life. So for a lot of Pisces, there will be an opportunity to sell your property, to buy a property, to change your place of living. I feel like a lot of Pisces also would probably relocate, because Jupiter is an international type of planet and entering into your 4th house. So either you will, let's say, go back and forth to one place to another, or maybe if you are able to work remotely, that could also be another option. But I see a lot of movement as your home base for a lot of Pisces. Another way that this could play out will be to renovate your home, or to change your place of living in some kind of way, to infuse some more, let's say, Jupiterian energy, some spiritual energy into your home, to feng shui your home, to bring good high frequencies into your home. And also there could be some new opportunities to gain more financial abundance from a home. So your home will be very much key, Pisces, to whatever is going on. And by home, also consider your body being your home. So I would really put a lot of focus into your your body, your physical body, but also the house, the place you're living, to make sure that you are manifesting the highest timeline possible. So what do we have for our beautiful Pisces?
Yeah, it feels like exciting. It's like the road less traveled type energy. The other thing that I also saw was about portals. So, it might be good to look into like your astrocartography and look into like where you've got good placements, like with home, perhaps like even relocating to like a different city. And I sort of am getting the vision in the background of people trying to perhaps like talk you out of taking like a risk or taking out of something that feels like aligned with you on a soul level. So definitely astrocartography can back that up, and you can look at like where those planetary positions fall in regards to places. So for some of you, it might be more of a longer term travel, or like really taking inspired action around, yep, this is the right age, the right time. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to just take a year off and, go and explore. So I'm feeling that kind of adventurous type energy. We do have the Prince of Cups. He's come up for a few of the signs. So I really do feel it's to follow your heart, to kind of look at not just like where you can kind of dive deep and like experience what the world has to offer and fill up your cup, but it's also illuminating in what you bring to the world. So we do see the Chariot energy, which can represent travel. It can represent, moving. This quite often comes up when we're looking into questions around moving houses. So I do feel like what you were saying for Pisces around that fourth house, that's coming up really, really strong. Princess of Disc, though, I love her. She's one of my favorite cards. She's a little bit of the rebellious teenager energy. So she doesn't listen to what everyone else is telling her is possible. She literally just like tunes out to the world and she's like, no, this is what's happening. This is what I'm creating. So I do feel, if you are looking for a new place, get a specific list, really work into manifestation around this home. This is where I keep feeling the portal energy. So for many of you guys, it's not that you don't love your current place, but it's that the universe is calling you to come hold space energetically. And then we also see this with Six of Swords, which is, travel or journey energy. But for me, it's also the veil behind the two worlds. So it's looking into like, okay, energetically, there's ley lines here that are creating a vortex or a portal. So I do feel a lot of you Pisces are being called to hold space or to be a pillar of light or kind of a guardian of certain places. We have the Nine of Swords. So again, like really, trying not to listen to like what other people are saying or speaking to you, trying to really like let go of some of the heaviness associated like with this decision. And then we have a Nine of Cups. So it really is more Jupiter and Pisces energy. So I do feel there's a lot of networking, a lot of connection and flow. It really is like a go with the flow type energy. But yeah, I see this being like really, it just feels like such a huge, expansive, life-changing year. It's like, if we look back, like 10, 20 years from now, you'll be like, oh my God, 2024, it feels huge. I feel like everything sort of happened all at once. Yeah, interesting year for Pisces.
Wow, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sol. I'm sure a lot of Pisces are going to appreciate. Flow with it. Yes, Jake. And if you have been with us so far, thank you so much, Lorianne, for your comment. Please show us some love. We did a longer show than usual, but we felt it was important to go through all the 12 zodiac signs and give you let's say, personalized prediction as one. But of course, these are collective predictions because we cannot go one by one, of course. But if you would like to get a personal reading, it's available right now on Maison Jupiter. You can book with Sol quite soon, I believe, if you go on the website. And please don't forget to use Jupiter in one word to get 10% off. And if you would enjoy this kind of reading that Sol just did, it's called the Mystical Oracle reading. So you'll be looking for the second image on the right-hand side of the screen. So you either can come up with different personalized question in your life. Let's say you want Sol to look at your career, at your relocation, at where you're going to be living, at your love life, anything, or you can also have a general reading with the tarot cards and the oracle cards. So I highly recommend having a personalized reading. Of course, this was a more general one, but it will give you some indications into what kind of energies will come up for you. And thank you so much. So wow, that was an amazing show. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking with us until the end. Really appreciate your awesome energy. And I will be rewatching this one for my signs still, because I feel like you gave like so many golden nuggets in this show. Thank you so much for your amazing wisdom.
Oh, thank you so much for your astrology. And the same, I'm going to go back to my sun, moon, and rising, and just because I was watching it, watching you talk about it, I'm like, it just feels spot on. And thank you for the audience as well. We really appreciate all of your love and kindness.
Yes, most definitely. So awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, I will enjoy the sun where I am. Some friends are waiting for me to go to the restaurant, so we'll be enjoying a night off. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and sending you much love, and see you very soon. Au revoir.
Bye.